There's always going to be fraud. The problem is, let me give you an example. Let's talk about tokens based on, we don't even have to mention what exchange, but all the large exchanges, the unregulated global exchanges, incentivize account holders and users to buy their tokens to get discounts on trading fees. It's not new. It's been going on for years. And then they put them on their balance sheet at a ridiculous valuation. And if you look at actually who owns these things, 97% of them are owned by the issuer. You don't know who that person is because it's simply a wallet without a name on it. And the other 3% are valuing it at 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 billion dollars. Now, if there's a cash run, a cash call back to fiat, back to US dollars on $100 billion, you know that exchange is going to fail. And that's exactly what happened to FTX.
Kevin O'Leary, a Shark Tank star and Canadian venture capitalist, was heavily involved in the controversy surrounding the FTX collapse last year. The businessman and television personality received criticism for blindly supporting Sam Bankman, the disgraced founder of the collapsed cryptocurrency exchange Valerie. This included his dubious relationship with SBF, including the $15 million he received to serve as the exchange's spokesperson, and his erroneous justification that by man's chi. Many people even assume that the Shark Tank star who likes SBF likewise is innocent of all the charges against him because O'Leary hasn't taken back his assertions to that effect, has some influential connections in Washington and may be supporting SBF to protect prominent American lawmakers who receive funding from the disgraced former tycoon. But until we hear from O'Leary, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, so we will provide daily content to keep you updated on the latest news.
All the large exchanges, the unregulated global exchanges, incentivize account holders and users to buy their tokens to get discounts on trading fees. It's not new. It's been going on for years. And then they put them on their balance sheet at a ridiculous valuation. And if you look at actually who owns these things, 97% of them are owned by the issuer. You don't know who that person is because it's simply a wallet without a name on it. And the other 3% are valuing it at 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 billion dollars. Now, if there's a cash run, a cash call back to fiat, back to US dollars on $100 billion, you know that exchange is going to fail. And that's exactly what happened to FTX when a rogue player said, I've got $550 million worth of FTT tokens, and I want cash by noon in 3 hours. Well, of course they don't have 500 million cash. None of them do. And so at the end of the day, this is all something that can just be regulated out of existence. You can't do that if it's a very simple regulation. You can't do that if you're a bank. You can't force people to buy your shares just to open an account. That's ridiculous. Or incentivize them with discounts. That's illegal. All I'm saying is set some rules up, and I think this is going to happen. And I'll tell you how I think this plays out. A passport system is going to be launched by regulators in major markets: US, Canada, Switzerland, United Arab Emirates, South American markets. And they're simply going to say, look, if you want access to the fiat cash in the regulated bank accounts in this geography, in this country, in this market, you have to be compliant to this passport. And they'll all have the same rules. And if you want to operate, because remember, the one thing about Bitcoin is it doesn't trade in any one geography. It trades around the world 24/7. So if you want to trade it on an exchange in Abu Dhabi or up in Canada or in Mexico or down in South America or here in the US, you're going to have to be passported, regulated. And that way, if you go offside in any market, they'll pull all your licenses. And then you no longer have access to getting cash in and out of banks. That's how I think they're going to do it. I'm speculating when I say it, but I think you're going to hear more hearings in the Senate and more of this reining in the cowboy rogue nature of what this has become. It's got to end. People are tired of losing all their money. And frankly, I think regulation doesn't have to be, it's not going to change fraud. It's just going to make it much easier for people to understand what the rules are and get rid of the rogue players. That was my assumption, and I was wrong. Their staff have become very intelligent.
Okay.
The Justice Department getting far advanced. The SEC, they really understand what's going on. They just haven't had agreement on who the regulators should be. There's a turf war going on and who should actually regulate, but there will be some regulation. There's no question about it. And I think, the Toomey hearings prior to when he retired on Jan 3rd, and now it looks like Haggerty may pick up the baton. They see the merit of digital payment systems and cryptocurrencies, but they want it done in a regulated environment. And I think that will continue, and they'll continue to educate themselves, and the hearings will continue. But I think it's all upside from here. And eventually institutions want to buy this stuff, and they're not buying it yet. For all of the noise about institutions coming in, they own nothing yet. Zero.
Since the FTX collapsed, there have been rumors of additional collapses among cryptocurrency exchanges, lenders, and other crypto-related businesses. Immediately following the FTX collapse, Binance saw massive outflows of up to $3 billion in a single day as investors rushed to avoid another FTX. However, the top exchanges have remained strong and are currently utilizing the bear market to broaden their global reach. On Monday, Binance announced the launch of Binance Mirror, an off-exchange platform. Returning to Kevin O'Leary's interview, he talks about the potential for additional failures in the cryptocurrency business as well as the widespread mistrust of governments and central banks among cryptocurrency investors. Group had also remained unproven.
I'm not worried, but if you're asking me, will there be another meltdown to zero? Absolutely, 100% it'll happen. And it'll keep happening all of these exchanges, all of them, all the unregulated exchanges are having massive outflows right now. The smart money has got the joke. They saw what happened in FTX. They're not sitting around for an explanation. And if you're not willing to be audited, and I'm speaking about any exchange, if you don't have an auditor, you don't want to be transparent, you don't want to disclose ownership, why should institutional capital stay there? Of course it's not going to. And frankly, it's very hard to find an auditor that wants to touch this stuff right now because of an unregulated cowboy environment. It's all going to end. And yes, there'll be many more zeros. The only place I have any crypto right now is up in the Canadian market, which is 100% regulated. They have a broker dealer attached to an exchange regulated by the OSC, all kinds of rules. You can't commingle. It's called BitBuy. And I've got my money there. It's owned by WonderFi, a public company. I have lots of capital tied up in there. It's the only place. I'm not putting it in an unregulated exchange anywhere. Forget it. Never again. And they get audited up there. And so, frankly, if you're sitting around trying to get me to buy a token from an exchange to get discounts on trading, that stuff's garbage. Well, that may happen, but it'll be the same rules. You're going to have to be a bank. I mean, Circle is pursuing that. I own a piece of Circle. I'm a shareholder. I own USDC. They have been very, very compliant. They're working with regulators. And I think that's a payment system that may come to the fore very quickly, and because they are willing to go under that kind of scrutiny. And I think we may have those rules one day. We just have to treat crypto like any other asset that's regulated. And I think that will come. The reason that won't happen is as long as you have a completely unregulated, decentralized version of money, you're going to have people ripping you off. And that's what people have got a taste of. There's so many rogue players that want to take advantage of people on these decentralized platforms. Doesn't mean decentralized doesn't work. It means we need to have much higher security at the wallet level, more transparency. In the FTX case, you can go to your account, you see nothing there. It got completely scraped. So nobody trusts these systems yet. They want regulation. They want transparency. They trust the banking system, not the crypto markets yet. And so this idea that that you're for decentralized and you're a rogue cowboy and you don't believe in government works until you find out you lost $50,000 in your account. If you want, you can go live in a cave with your dog and a rifle and some beef jerky. That's fine. I choose not to do that. So what I do is that I play by the government rules and I buy assets that protect me against inflation, like watches, like gold, like equities that are profitable companies. I mean, that's what I do. And I think that those rules have been established for hundreds of years and they work. So we're in a period of inflation. You've got to actually adjust what you're doing with your capital to protect yourself and protect your buying power. I buy real estate as well. There's all kinds of things you can do, and you can do them in a regulated environment. I just think that this nascent crypto industry has ripped off so many people. I saw a stat the other day. In the last 36 months, 80% of the people that participated in crypto as investors have lost 82% of their capital. I rest my case, Your Honor. I think that's a horrible way to start. And I think we need a complete change in how people think about it if we're ever going to get the narrative back to a constructive one.
Regardless of what lies ahead, the cryptocurrency sector has had a terrific start in 2023. At its current price of $21,177, several of the leading cryptocurrencies are up by 10 or 20% over the past week. According to data from CoinMarketCap, Bitcoin has increased by 22.67% over the past week, while Ether has increased by almost 19% and XRP, Polygon and Solana have increased by 11.46%. Respectively 19.42 and 44.88. Please share your opinions and observations in the space below. How do you believe the current price movements in the cryptocurrency markets relate to Kevin O'Leary's claims that there may be additional collapses in 2023?
Do you agree that price doesn't matter in the short term? Leave a comment if you found the content interesting. Click in like button. It really helps the channel find viewers similar to you. If you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed to it, click in subscribe button. We post content daily to keep you up to date on the current market and news. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.